Welcome to Decoding the Childcare Business. My name is Zuleika Hines, your host. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to convert toddlers to preschool. What are the tools that we need to use to understand, does it make sense? What is the way that we can generate revenue? How do we understand our numbers? And should we move to a younger classroom to an older classroom? In the last episode, I shared with you my real experiences of transitioning from an infant classroom to a kindergarten classroom. I also had the opportunity to convert a space into only an infant and toddler classroom. The decisions that I made, I wish I had this tool when I was making this decision, because I would have looked at things a little bit differently. I would have kept a younger classroom as opposed to building into an older classroom. Older classroom sounds exciting. It's a lower staff to child ratio. The children are verbal. The diaper changing has already come to an end. And the force and the overall level of managing and creating opportunities for staff and the overall process of engaging children shifts when they're so verbal and excited and open to new ideas. You see them from the infant room and move them to the kindergarten room. You get to experience a sense of awe at the way that the children have evolved in your program. It's very exciting. It's warming. And oftentimes we look at that as the top pinnacle of our offering care for children. But sometimes what you see is not necessarily what you get. And it comes with a mirage of challenges that if you don't pay close attention to, you can undermine your revenue and your growth. Let's get started on the tools that would help you create a sound decision on whether or not moving into an older classroom makes sense for you. How to convert toddlers to preschool. Don't walk away from your most valuable asset just because older children seem easier. Converting a room without running the numbers is the fastest way to lose money. So we want to make sure we make sound decisions. Our disclaimer, the information provided in this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or business advice. Every childcare business operates under unique circumstances and local regulations. Please consult with a qualified financial planner, attorney, or business advisor before making any significant operational or financial decisions. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. So how do we get there, Ms. Zuli? You talked to me last series on the challenges of moving from an infant classroom to a kindergarten classroom. What are the opportunities and threats in that process? But I don't have a financial degree. I don't understand numbers in the same way. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I leave that to my partner. I leave that to my husband. How do I understand my financial numbers to be able to make the best decision? And I want to say to you, you can do this. I am giving you the tools for you to be able to make sound decisions. You are there. You just need the tool. And I want to show that to you. The market opportunity for childcare is huge. So although we operate in slim margins, we still have a market of over $68.8 billion. The childcare industry is expected to grow to $109.9 billion in 2033. If family daycare was not profitable, centers and franchises would not be in the space. So what is happening is that at the group family daycare level, at the family daycare level, and at the one owner operator or multi-owner operator center-based program, we are growing our program without really taking a harder look at our financials and making sound decisions on conversion, growth, and opportunities that still exist. We have to look at our numbers and use tools to make the best decision. This is why the Childcare Intelligence System tool is so great. It's going to give you the opportunity to be able to look at your numbers and understand making that change, is that the right decision for you? So, and when you come into this tool, where can you find this tool? Go to beyondbasiclearning.com, www.beyondbasiclearning.com. And you're going to find CCIS, the Childcare Intelligence System. You're going to be able to select your state. For this demo presentation, we have selected New York, and it will populate how many licensed programs exist in that particular state. You're going to be able to know what the average cost is for tuition at the different age groups, for infants, for toddlers, for 2-year-olds, or for preschool. it has a map intelligence. You go ahead and input your zip code, and I can show you that right here. You go and input a zip code. I'm going to input a zip code for you. You hit on this hourglass, and it will let you know how many center-based programs, group family, and home-based program exist within this zip code. It lists 182 childcare providers in 3 different modalities: center-based, group family, and family. You can look at it via list view. So you can see all the programs in this particular zip code by list view, but you can also look at them as a map view. If you're only interested in looking at home-based providers, group family, or home-based providers, you can actually identify them by color, and you can also see them by list. In many of them, you can even look at their capacity to understand if expanding your program in that particular zip code for your particular age group makes sense. You see what I mean? So by understanding this information, you immediately are able to grasp and understand, is this the right move for me? Should I change my program and go to an older group? Or should I get a group family daycare and expand into another home-based program? What is great about this particular tool is that you can also add how many infants, toddlers, 2-year-olds, or 3-year-olds you would like to add to your program. And in here, you can see infants. For this example, we have 8. We have 10 toddlers, 12 2-year-olds. We have 18 3-year-olds. So it would immediately say what your ratio needs to be, how many staff you need to have, and what is the maximum group capacity. Because as you know, we are restricted by group size and we're limited by staff to child ratio. And it's the staff that governs the expense, the greatest expense in our center. But it allows you to calculate what that looks like. It gives you the total of children that you have configured your classroom or your school to be, the total amount of staff, and it will tell you how many classrooms you're going to need to meet that particular demand of children that you want to have enrolled. What is good is that it also gives you the square footage. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the square footage, but it gives you the information on how much space you need to have to meet the number of children that you want to serve. But this is where the revenue piece is what I'm really interested in sharing with you. When you look at this particular tool, you're going to be able to calculate how much money your program can generate. It would let you understand what your tuition is going to look like, and it will break it down by classroom. Just to give you an example, I can add children here, which changes my monthly revenue. I can subtract. I can forecast. Let's say next year, I want to have another 3-year-old classroom. So maybe in here, I would add more children to meet the second group of toddlers or 3-year-olds that I want to have. Maybe I want to keep it to just 18 children, which changes my classroom monthly revenue. And maybe I want to just add another toddler class and have 20 toddlers, 2 toddler classrooms, 1 infant classroom, 1 2-year-old, and 1 3-year-old. And you can see how easily you're able. Sometimes you're not going to be at the true capacity that you intended to be. Sometimes your capacity is going to be at 80% or 70% capacity. Do you know your true capacity? So what is good is that by looking at this particular tool, you're able to understand what is the capacity that you're working with. Are you working at 80% enrollment or are you working at a 70% enrollment? This information allows you to say to yourself, well, at 70% enrollment, I'm still profitable. When I get enrollment that is above 70%, I will use that for my savings. I will use that to invest in training. I will prepay some of my bills. So understanding what will give you these numbers help you better understand how to budget yourself for situations that inevitably come up. Revenue lines, it will tell you what your staffing cost looks like, your rent facility, your food and nutrition, your insurance, what your supply expenses are. And at the end, it will tell you what your profit margin looks like. And you need to understand that because although here it shows a high profit margin for the purpose of this demo, at least you know that if you reach 70% capacity or 80% capacity, that you're okay. Because this gives you the tools that you need to be able to move through that process. The space requirement reports gives you room by room analysis, compliance requirements. You can download it and you can also share it with some friends. What CCI gives you in minutes is data-driven decision before you renovate. It helps you understand your revenue comparison. What is your age group saturation? What is your break-even analysis? And any demographic forecasting. Time is money, folks. What used to take weeks of expensive market research and consulting fees is now available to you in just minutes. Decoding the next move. What is your action plan? Stop guessing. Run your demographics and secure your revenue. Ready to analyze your market? That's why the Childcare Intelligence System is all about. The Childcare Intelligence System is there to help you analyze your market. There's a lot that we talked about here. There's a lot that we learned about how should we expand to an older classroom, but we also about what are the components that I need to know before I move to an older classroom. How do I make sure that this makes sense for me? The Childcare Intelligence System tool is going to help you understand your numbers, your market saturation rate, how to plug yourself into this community, and where are the blind spots. And together, we're able to build a sound expansion or growth for your childcare center. My name is Zuleika Hines. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the video below. There's going to be more information coming out in ways that we can become profitable doing what we love. And I cannot wait to meet you.